Okay, let's start working on surface area. This is the first part of chapter 10, section 6. So we're going to look at a prism first. A prism is a solid with two parallel congruent bases. So let's look at this figure that we've got drawn here. And when we say two parallel congruent bases, we're talking about, on this one, it would be the top, which is a five-sided, so a pentagon, and then the bottom matches it exactly. It's five-sided pentagon. They're parallel, and they have the same number of sides. So let's say base 1, and then underneath, that one from underneath, base 2. Okay, so that means that's what a prism is. It also has lateral faces, and that would be these side pieces, which are generally going to be squares that are connecting everything. Okay, to find the surface area of a figure like that, think about flattening it out. So if we bent the top up, we bent the bottom down, and we laid out all those lateral faces next to each other, this is what it would look like. This is like the net for it. Here's the area, or the formula to find the lateral area of the prism. And they use a capital L for that. The lateral area is equal to, I'm going to put a capital P here, which that might ring a bell from ones that we've been doing. And then we multiply that by a lowercase h, which also, both of those you might remember from the last few sections that we've done. Capital P is perimeter. And what we're talking about there is the perimeter of that base. So in this prism up here, we would want the perimeter of the pentagon. Okay, the perimeter, and then H, I bet you knew that one, right? Height, the height. So if we took the perimeter of this pentagon, and remember this would kind of go down to here, this piece would head down here. So what we end up with, the perimeter is the same distance as across the top of this rectangle that we made out of the lateral faces. And we're looking for the lateral area, so just the area of that long rectangle. So perimeter gives us this side, and then the height gives us this side. I'm going to put a capital P up here for this one, and H here. That's how you can find the lateral area of a prism. The perimeter of whatever that special base shape is times the height of the prism. Then we go on and say, okay, well, we want the surface area. We want to have all the outside of our prism. So they use a capital S for that. And what we would do first is take that lateral area, so you've got the whole rectangle, and then add to that 2 of the bases. Why 2 bases? Because there are 2 bases, one at the top, one at the bottom, and you need the area of both of those. And I'm going to draw this here so we remember that the bases are that part. So first you can find that rectangle if you flatten it all out, and the area of the bases, add those things together, and you will have the entire surface area. Let's try this guy. So this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's another pentagon, which means it's a pentagonal prism. And first thing we'll do is the lateral area, right? We'll always start with that. To do that, we need the perimeter of the base and the height of the prism. This is our base right here, this pentagon. And they're telling us that one side is 9. There are little tick marks, so it's regular. They're all 9. How far is it all the way around that 5-sided prism? So I'm going to put on here 9 times the 5 sides. Or you could say 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 5 times. You could add them together 5 times. That's our perimeter. The height looks like it is 7. That equals our lateral area. I'm going to grab a calculator. You can throw that in there. Let's see what we've got. 9 times 5 times 7. 315. Lateral area equals 315. What do we have? Kilometers. Man, squared. That is a huge prism. Okay. Then we'll move to the base. Let's find that area next. Now, how do you find the area of a pentagon? You remember doing that? I'm not sure. I will write it down. 1/2 little a times capital P. Do you remember what that little a is? Oh man, I'm going to write it over here. We did this. Little a is apothem, which is actually it's this distance right here. It's the distance from the center, the very center of your shape, your polygon, straight out perpendicular to one of the sides, which means it ends up landing in the very center of that side. So this is our apothem. Okay. All right, so we actually do have that number. Let's do this. Then the base equals 1/2 the apothem, 6.2, times the perimeter, which we said was 9 times the 5 sides, or 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, however you choose to do that. All right, let's throw it in our calculator and get the area for the pentagon. 6.2 times 9 times 5. And then I'm dividing it by 2. Did you get 139.5 kilometers squared? Okay, so we know the area of the top and the bottom, the bases, and we know the area around the sides, the lateral area. Now let's do the surface. And remember what we said you have to do. Surface equals the lateral area plus 2 of the bases. So we'll put those numbers in there. Our lateral area, we said it was 315. And our base is 139.5. Okay, calculator, plus 2 times 139.5. Check and make sure you can get 594 kilometers squared for the entire outside area, the whole surface put together. All right, one for you to try. This one's a triangle. So you'll have to think about how do you get the area of a triangle. It won't be the same formula as the polygon, the pentagon. A little bit different. Pause your video and find the total surface area for that triangular prism. All right, hopefully you were successful. I'm going to start with the lateral area, so perimeter times height. And the perimeter of my triangle, here's 8 plus 7 plus, do we know how long this long side is? They told us down here, but it'll be the same. So 8 plus 7 plus 12 is the perimeter. And then how high is it? 6. Okay, so this, I can see there's a triangle on the top and a triangle on the bottom. Those are the bases, they match. Let's do this. So the lateral area, 8 plus 7 plus 12 times the height, 162 meters squared. Okay, that wasn't too bad, was it? How about the base area? So the base is a triangle. And did you remember this? 1/2 base times height is the area of a triangle. So 1/2 base, we're going to use this base right here, 12. And we picked that side because they gave us a height from that side. If I had picked base 7, they didn't tell us that's a right angle. So we don't really know for sure the perpendicular height from there up to the top. If they'd put a right angle there, we could have used that, but they did not. So this is our base, and we know this is the height of this triangle, 4.5. Let's find out what that is. 12 times 4.5 divided by 2. Did you get 27? 27 meters squared. Okay, then we'll put it together. Surface area is lateral area plus 2 bases. So 162 plus 2 times 27. 216 meters squared. We got it. Woohoo! Okay, if you need to go back and check through there, if you made a mistake, check back and see what part you missed. And then let's turn over. So we're going from prisms to, now we've got just a smooth lateral side, right? Oh, and no breaking it up into chunks like a prism. A cylinder is a solid with 2 parallel congruent circular bases. Okay, so the top's a circle, the bottom's a circle. And those are the bases. The lateral area is just that curved surface. So it's just one solid piece, and it's bent, or curved, nice and round and smooth. Okay, to find the lateral area of a cylinder. So here we've broken it out again. We flipped the top, we flipped the bottom, and then laid out that lateral area. And again, it makes a nice rectangle. So to find the area of that, we can use the circumference of the circle, which is the same as the perimeter on our polygon, our prisms on the front, and multiply it by the height. So think about taking this circle and cutting right there, and then rolling this out, and it would hit up there, and roll this side out this way. The circumference is the same distance as this side of the lateral area, and then the height would be this distance. So if we multiply circumference times height, we'll have the area of that rectangle. And let's write here circumference, so you don't look back later and say, what in the world does C mean? It's the circumference. Okay, surface area. This looks just like the prism. So you need the lateral area, and you need 2 bases. Yeah, okay. And our bases are these circles. Let's try this out. I did put a link to some videos here if you need more examples or just want to hear someone else talk about it. Sometimes that helps. Find the lateral area and surface area of the cylinder, round to the nearest tenth. We're going to be using pi, so we will be rounding. All right, lateral area, circumference times height. Do you remember how to find the circumference of a circle? Let's put that over here. Circumference equals 2 pi r. Okay, so we need to put 2 pi, those don't change, and then the radius of the circle. That's a 4. Good. Okay, circumference down. Height. How high is our cylinder? 12. Okay, let's throw this in our calculator then. 2 times pi times 4 times 12. It's all multiplied, so you can do it that way. You can write the numbers out. You can use parentheses. Go ahead and try it though. Make sure that you can get 301.6, since we're rounding, as your lateral area, centimeters squared, for that cylinder. You do want to practice typing that in. Make sure you can Get the correct answer on your calculator. The base. Now, do you remember the formula for the area of a circle? We just did this a couple sections ago. It wasn't that long ago. Pi r squared. A little different than circumference, right? This one you have area. There's something being squared. So two directions. And circumference is just a line. Okay, pi. We already found that the radius was 4. Throw that in our calculator. 4 squared times pi. 50.3. Remember to round. 50.3 centimeters squared is our base. Okay, we're ready to put this all together then. Surface area equals lateral area plus 2 of the bases. And we already have these numbers. Let's put them in. 301.6, 2 times 50.3 is 402.2. 402.2 centimeters squared. That's our total surface area. Approximately. We rounded, so that's not super exact, but it's pretty close. All right, we got one for you. I want you to pause. Try that out. You got to find the lateral area, the bases, and then add all those pieces together. Then come back and we'll check. All right, let's check it. Lateral area, so circumference times height. Circumference is 2 pi times r. And our height is 1. These are interesting numbers. Total. 2 times 2 times 1 times pi. 12.6 meters squared. Is that what you got? All right, the base. So pi r squared, pi, and our radius was 2. That sure looks familiar, doesn't it? 2 squared is 4 times pi. We got the exact same number. 12.6 meters squared. Okay, that's not a mistake. That really is true. Surface. So we need the lateral. Let's see, I did that. Plus 2 bases. 12.6 plus 2 of these guys, because there's a base on the top and a base on the bottom. And let's see if we get this. 12.6 plus 2 times 12.6. Altogether, 37.8 centimeters squared. Got it? Okay. All right, you guys are ready to go ahead and try that assignment. Prisms and cylinders. Good luck.